Okay, and we are live. I'm going to give the audience about 3 or so minutes to filter in, and then we'll jump right in. And for those joining us right now, thank you for joining. Really excited to be here today. We have some awesome partners for our Earth Day webinar. And for everyone in the audience, if y'all could throw in where you are tuning in from, I would love to know. And I cannot find it. There it is. I am based out of Denver. Nice and sunny here. Spring is blooming. Very excited. And for the audience as well, throw it in the chat where you are. Oh, you know what? Sorry, attendees, now you can use the chat. Sorry about that. Perfect. Yeah, throw in where you're tuning in from, and actually as well where you are, like some of your favorite sustainability focused brands. Personally, mine is like this brand Karayuma. They do shoes, awesome shoes, and I absolutely adore them. Sweet. Getting some more coming in. Nice. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Nice. Boston, Toronto, LA. Sweet. Okay. And right before we dive right in, oh, and Cotopaxi, yes, I absolutely love Cotopaxi. I need one of their backpacks. And a quick Earth Day joke for everyone. And panelists, feel free to share it if you have any of yours. But why do trees make great entrepreneurs? They love to branch out. Total dad joke, I know. Yeah, I need a little drum thing. Cool, we're 2 minutes in, give everyone a minute or so. Okay, about 3 minutes in, so let's dive into the webinar. So yeah, thank you everyone in the audience for joining today. I'm Michael from EcoCart. This is Going Green, Earth Day 2023. Today we'll be talking all about sustainability in commerce and how things are going. So without further ado, let's introduce our panelists. And Dane, if you want to kick us off.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking some time. I am thrilled to have you all here. I see some folks just joining in here, and that's a good number of participants. And so I'm really excited for you all to be here. I'm Dane, co-founder and CEO of EcoCart. And our mission is to make the fight against climate change easy, affordable, and accessible so that everyone can do their part.
Hey everyone, I'm Francesca from ShipBob, partner manager overseeing tech and logistics partnerships, as well as sustainability partnerships. So this is actually, sustainability is like near and dear to my heart. I'm always trying to figure out how I can be more eco-conscious in my life and at work. So super excited about this chat today to kind of jog some ideas, brainstorm, and hopefully help you guys figure out how your brands could be more eco-conscious.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samir Kamnani. I'm a product marketing manager at Loop. We are a returns and exchange platform built for Shopify brands. And so I work really closely with our product team and our marketing team to message majority logistics facing features is what I work on to the market. And a lot of what logistics entails is how we can make returns more sustainable. So really excited to chat to you all about that today.
Hello, everyone. I am Erin Watt. I am one of the partner tech managers over at Gorgias. So for those who do not know Gorgias is your customer service platform designed specifically for e-commerce brands and also built for your entire tech stack, My job is to work with all the other best-in-class e-commerce tools in the industry to making sure that you get the most out of your day-to-day processes. And I'm also here to help to improve your customer support. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we can also help with some of your sustainability efforts utilizing customer service. So really excited to be here. Can't wait for the show.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Kolinsky. I'm the Senior Marketing Lead at Okendo. We are a customer marketing platform exclusively for Shopify brands that helps with reviews and surveys. So really excited to be here. I've been in e-commerce for almost 5 years now. So really excited just to talk about this topic on such an important week that we have here. So thanks for having me. Excited to get this kicked off.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. All right. Before we dive in, some quick housekeeping for the event today. Number one, this event is being recorded and it will be sent out to all registrants tomorrow. So look out for that. Additionally, we put on these events, put on these webinars for you. So please, if you have any questions at all during the presentations, just throw your questions into the chat or into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We are really thrilled to put on this event. Earth Day is a hugely important day personally and especially to all of us here. So we are here for you and we want to help in any way we can. And then additionally, look out for some special partner offers throughout the event and take advantage of those as they come. All right, great. Well, let's dive right in with Dane. And I'm going to stop sharing.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for, again, taking some time. Really excited to be kicking off Earth Week with you all. That is, I'm with EcoCart, as I mentioned, and this is our Super Bowl, honestly. And so we're really excited to be sharing it with you all here in this room and kicking it off. So today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how can we all, as brands and partners in the space, how can we push forward the message that e-commerce and commerce generally can be a force for good. And that's my mission, my personal mission. I started this business along with my co-founder about 4 years ago. And it was all centered around the mission of how do we make the fight against climate change easy, affordable, and accessible so that everyone can do their part. And what we found throughout the process of building this business into over 2,000 brands is that sustainability is also good for business. It actually drives business results. And I'm going to be speaking today a little bit about how to craft a message around this. And you'll find it's not very dissimilar to how to craft a message in general from a marketing perspective about what the brand stands for, whatever that may be. And so there's kind of 4 big pillars to this communication flywheel. 1 is reveal, 2 is educate, 3 is inspire, and then 4th is engage. And so I'm going to be speaking a little bit about all 4 of those kind of in succession. And so without further ado, I will kick off into the first. And so I'm going to kind of structure this a little bit like almost as if, imagine with me for a moment that you're a consumer, right? And so I'm a consumer, you're a consumer. We're going through a shopping journey, a shopping experience. And first, one of the first things we run into as consumers is the product detail page. And imagine that you're shopping with, let's just say Patagonia or Pangea or any of other amazing brands that we're kind of showing here on the screen and throughout this presentation. And on that product detail page, you get to see the product that you're exploring, where it's made, how it's made, and what it's made from. And so you immediately start to trust that brand and that product in a very, very in-depth way that you didn't before. And so revealing this information to them through their shopping experience, and specifically when they're exploring their product, is an incredibly powerful sort of trust mechanism to establish. That's the first, that's reveal. The second is educate, right? And imagine further, right after we, as consumers, we're going through this shopping journey together here. After we understand and are revealed that information on the product detail page, we continue on our shopping journey. We go to and stumble upon the impact page of that brand. In this case, we're showing Cotopaxi, who's an incredible brand that we work with to power a carbon neutral checkout experience and tell a sustainability story. And in this page, right, let's say that we get to understand all of the information, we're educated about all the information and all the efforts and initiatives that brand is doing to push forward their sustainability message and what matters to the brand. That's a really powerful tool as well. And so a few tips for all of the brands and as well as all of the partners in the room here. A few things here. Explaining, kind of why you operate the way you do shows that you care, and showing that you care helps, again, establish that trust factor with yourself and your consumer. And a few kind of key pro tips here. Context matters. So giving them all of the details around the situation. Second is effort really counts. And so detailing all of the incredible effort, even if you're not perfect, because we can't all be, perfect, like some of the incredible brands out there that have billions of dollars to spend in the space. And even then they're not perfect. The effort counts. So sharing that information to consumers really matters. And then third is stories resonate, just like any other marketing initiative, any other message you're trying to put forth to consumers to get them to resonate with that. Stories matter. The third, inspire. How do we inspire consumers to have that additional connection between yourself as a brand and your consumer? And so again, let's put ourselves into the consumer mindset, right? We're going through that shopping experience again. After we first understand and are revealed the information on the product detail page, we then, of course, just went through and saw all of the information on the impact page. And then ultimately, we then further run into some more information through the shopping journey about how much impact that brand has had throughout their time operating the business. In this case, we have offset nearly 70,000 pounds of CO2. If you see that as a consumer, in my mind, that is a really strong connection between myself and the brand as well, and it is a further point to leaning into trusting that brand. And so having this kind of we're in this together attitude goes a long way. A few pro tips here as well. Real-time impact, again, leans into trust. Even highlighting individual contributors and their stories. It can be a really powerful mechanism. And then lastly, this entire initiative just simply goes to show that you care and that this matters to you as the brand. And so the third is inspire, like I just mentioned. The last is engage. And so imagine, again, we're a consumer going through that shopping journey. Once we're primed with all of those pieces of information, we're revealed the information, we're educated about it, we're ultimately inspired by that. And then finally, we get to the checkout experience, the culmination of our shopping journey as a consumer. And we then get to see that we have the opportunity to make our purchase carbon neutral. We have the ability to take climate action as a consumer and put our money where our mouth is and contribute that 79 cents to the purchase to make it carbon neutral. It's a really powerful mechanism. It establishes further loyalty and love with that consumer. Studies show, and our data shows that the consumer is actually more willing to make that purchase if they have that option surfaced to them at this moment, at this magical moment of the shopping journey, again, the checkout experience. And so there's a really powerful tool. And again, if you do it right in those 4 ways, it can really help to drive core business metrics and business value, like I mentioned before, increasing cart conversion, driving repurchase rates and LTV, and many more. So a few core ways to engage the consumer, and it creates a deep loyalty and bond that simply informing them couldn't accomplish. And so that's EcoCart in a nutshell. That's how to craft an incredibly kind of connection building experience with your consumers, all centered around a sustainability message. We have a special offer running because, of course, it's Earth Week for us. Earth Day is coming up on Saturday. And so I have to mention this for you all, because you all tuned in. You're all joining us and kicking off Earth Week with us. So here's a special offer for you in this room. we will, as EcoCart, cover the cost of making all of your purchases carbon neutral at no cost to you. So we'll do this for you entirely. If you're in this room and you're like, oh no, I don't have anything planned for Earth Day in 5 days, what do I do? We got you covered. We will make all of your purchases carbon neutral. You can tell a sustainability story around it. We'll help you with examples of what has worked in the past. All you have to do is reach out. Anyone, I'm sure Michael in this room can share some emails of some folks. My personal email is Dane, D-A-N-E @ecocart.io. I'm sure Michael will drop it into the chat for you all. Let's connect. We'd love to help you tell a sustainability story for Earth Day. We'll even extend this for you if you think, oh well, I don't have enough time before Earth Day. We can help you accelerate that and make sure you do have enough time. But if you feel like you really can't, we'll even extend this for you as a special thank you for joining us, kicking off Earth Week for us. So that's our spiel. Thank you for taking some time, and I'll pass the floor over to Francesca.
Awesome. Thank you, Dane.
Hello, how's everyone doing? Rhetorical question because I can't hear anybody. Okay, I think I'm sharing my screen now. If I'm looking over here, it says my screen's over here, but Francesca from ShipBob, we do omni-channel fulfillment. So helping orders from your website, marketplaces get to the customer's door, or get the inventory into stores. In-store shopping is back in style. But I wanna preface this whole thing as sustainability and being eco-conscious is a journey. So just take it in stride, do whatever you can, take the actual items that are easy to do first. But like Dane said, companies that are big, aren't even doing everything sustainable. It takes a long time to instill these into your business and change sometimes manufacturers or the way that you do things. So just take it in stride. And I'm just going to talk about different ways you can make your supply chain more eco-conscious and things that we've done or we've recommended our merchants to do for their supply chain. So the first thing I think of is distributing inventory closer to your customers. I know a lot of brands are newer and maybe don't have the resources to have multiple fulfillment centers or have inventory in multiple fulfillment centers. But the best place to start is finding a central region in the continent or the country that you're selling in. That way you can reduce the amount of zones that are being shipped to customers across the country. So US, I usually say Midwest, and Europe, it's Poland or the Netherlands. But once you're able to scale and move your inventory maybe in multiple places, just having it close to your customer base is not only going to save you money on the shipments going out, they're going across different zones, it's going to cost a lot less for you or the customer, but it's also reduced the amount of zones you're shipping over and the carbon emissions produced from shipping that product across a bunch of zones. So you're going to be able to deliver on fast expectations, Amazon level logistics, everyone expects 2-day. Being closer to the customer, you can do this. And then reducing the carbon footprint per package. So we consult on this. We actually have an inventory placement program at ShipBob where we're suggesting based on the data where to place your inventory to be the closest to your customer base. So that's something that we can do for you, whether you're a current client or you're a client coming in, we can run some analytics on that. Some other things to think about that we've actually installed as well. So we have a recycling program in our facility, in a couple of our facilities, and we're going to be rolling this out soon. But it's redirecting things that'd be waste from landfills to be recycled. So I'm thinking cardboard boxes, even though they can be recycled, make sure that someone comes and picks it up. They're professional services that can do this, but professional services that pick up these cardboard boxes, yes, they're curbside recyclable, but how can they make those into new products versus it going to a recycling plant, which I don't want to say recycling isn't a thing, but in a lot of major cities, it's kind of corrupt and some things don't actually make it to be recycled. So just taking that extra step, if you do own your facility or if you're using a third-party logistics company, just seeing if they have a recycling program set up. You can divert poly bags to a bunch of different types of waste just so it can be reused. The next is donate returns or expiring stock. So we actually have a partner that comes and picks up inventory and then we'll place it with nonprofits that are in need. So example is maybe the return's not up to par, but it's not damaged and you want someone to have that product. Or you're trying to liquidate stock, get rid of a SKU. The most recent experience we had with this was a partner that does protein bars. They're actually really nice protein bars you can buy at Whole Foods. So these are nice products that were expiring soon. We got them with the local food bank so they could disperse them out. And the people at the food bank were pumped to have these nice protein bars. So not everything has to go to waste and you can divert things to people in need versus like a liquidation website. Like that's also an option too. But try to see if there's non-for-profits there pairing like things that you're trying to get rid of with other non-for-profits that are in need. And then last, we'll actually have a couple more things. So the next thing would be purchase offsets for the emissions produced from your warehouse or labor. So Dane just talked about carbon offsetting the last mile delivery. ShipBob actually calculates the carbon emissions produced for all the fulfillment centers in our network, as well as the labor, and then we pay for different programs, reforestation or conservation programs from that those carbon emissions produced. Next thing is packaging. There's a couple different options here. Recyclable packaging, again, curbside recyclable is great. Compostable, this is a new thing, so I would take this in stride. Make sure if you're composting, your customers actually know what compostable means and how to actually compost, because usually it takes, like, you have to give it to like a compostable center or have your own home composting system, and it takes a little bit if you have a home composting system that's natural using worms. And the last thing is reusable packaging. I love this. I actually have a lot of reusable packaging that have come from packages I ordered. And I'm like, oh, great. My mom could use this for like her eBay business and reuse this poly mailer. So yeah, using packaging that it can be branded too, but just aligns with you being more eco-conscious. You can put on the bag. This one says is 100% compostable. And then also using AI to determine what size boxes are best for your product, depending on like the different arrangements or different like products that's wanted by in a typical order. This is going to reduce the dimensional weight that the product's going out at. So if a product's really big, you're going to get charged more to ship that with the carrier, but also just reducing the space that a package is taking up in a truck is super helpful. Everyone's probably gotten an order from like a big box retailer and there's been like one thing in there and then like maybe some like filling and you're like, wait, this was half the box. So using AI. And then the last thing, I think this is like newer, there's some packaging partners that will do this, but you can put like a QR code on the packaging itself. If not, have it on your website. Just educate your customers on how to dispose of your packaging as well as product too. There's a lot of services out there that do recycle products, like whether it's containers or like the physical product itself, because it's made out of plastic. So going along with Dane, like education post-purchase is super important to kind of keep that connection with the customer, and then also educate them. If they might not know how to compost, they might not even know where to compost a compostable bag. So just giving them options and being a resource for them is very important. And then we've got a case study here from one of our customers who their brand mission is being eco-conscious. That's the whole point of the brand. But so the product is like a food hugger. It's helped reduce food waste, as well as it's a Tupperware type brand, but they're trying to reduce food waste. So you can actually eat your food and not throw it out like I've done a lot of times. That's the one thing I'm trying to cut down on doing. So I actually have some of these products and they're super cool. So the mission of your product and your brand doesn't have to be eco-conscious. It could still be the things that you're doing to be eco-conscious. So some things that they've done, they're certified B Corp. You can look at the specifications for that. Their products are using non-toxic and like healthy for your body materials. They're also using custom packaging. I think they have like recyclable, curbside recyclable packaging for their direct-to-consumer orders that we ship out. And they also utilize our fulfillment network with multiple facilities to lessen their carbon footprint. So not only was their brand based on being eco-conscious, but they've done these other things with their brand just to keep driving that home. And if you have any questions on fulfillment or sustainability, we'll have a follow-up email with offers and emails. Feel free to reach out to any of us and we'd be happy to connect with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Francesca. That was awesome. I love those ideas. And shout out to Stephen. I love what you said about donating food to food banks. Absolutely. All right. And next up we have Samir.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thanks again to EcoCart for having me. I'm Samir Kamnani. I'm a product marketing manager at Loop. And what Loop does is we are a returns and exchanges platform purposely built for Shopify brands. And what we help those brands do is essentially automate and optimize their returns experiences. And that helps make it less time consuming for the brand and also a better experience for the shoppers. And so what those two things together really help solve are helping the brand increase customer loyalty, making it a better experience. It also helps lower your reverse logistics costs and how many support hours and tickets are going to returns. And it helps you boost exchanges and retain revenue from returns. So kind of turning returns into more of a profit center than a cost center. But what we're here to talk about today is sustainability. And you can probably guess that the traditional return methods of boxing something up, taking it to a UPS, waiting for it to ship, like all of that, it's not the most sustainable model and creates a lot of waste. There's the waste from the extra packaging, there's the carbon footprint from actually shipping it back to the manufacturer, to the fulfillment center. The products themselves, sometimes a return can't just go back on the shelf, and sometimes they'll end up in landfill, and so that it just creates a lot of waste. But as we all know and heard of, consumers and shoppers are being more aware of sustainable practices. They want to shop with the brands that align with their personal values. And so being a sustainable brand helps contribute to dollars and if shoppers actually, are retained by you or not. And so Loop has done a couple surveys with shoppers, and we found recently that 73% review a retailer's return policy to gauge their sustainability levels. And so that's kind of on the, on the acquisition side, if a shopper is looking at your return policy before even deciding to shop with you. And then on the retention side, 88% agree that eco-friendly return options make them more likely to shop again. So what we at Loop believe and what we try to help brands do is by not only using, but also highlighting and encouraging your sustainable return practices. Kind of going back to what Dane was messaging of, actually messaging it is half the battle. So putting that in your return policy, putting it in your returns experience as it's happening is a great way to improve brand sentiment with your shoppers, improve retention, and again, just really make them feeling good about their purchase and their return. So with that being said, what are the ways that you can actually make returns more sustainable? Like I was saying, the traditional return methods are not kind of built in a way to be sustainable, but there has been a lot of innovation in the space and new things that brands are adopting that have really improved this. So the three buckets I want to touch on are, first, sustainable shipping. This is anything you could think of related to decreasing the carbon footprint of the actual shipping the item back. And so the two main ways that Loop helps brands with this are, one is consolidation services. And so by consolidation, I mean essentially doing a return like without a box or a label or anything. You're just dropping off your item, which on one side is a great customer experience, not even thinking about the sustainable piece of it. That's just if you have to return something and don't need to worry about boxing it up and printing a label or anything like that, it's a great experience. But on the for the brand side, it is great for the environment because that means then all of those returns get packaged into one pallet as opposed to one-off shipments being sent to your fulfillment center, and that very much decreases the carbon footprint. It's about one shipment for 17 returns on average, so really decreasing that amount of shipments. And it's also cost savings as well. If you think about just label costs and the costs that come with shipping back and forth, this helps with that as well. The second piece in sustainable shipping I want to touch on is Loop uses and allows brands to use what we call a keep item feature. And it basically is something that's a nice little surprise at the end of your return. If you're going through a return and the brand tells you, hey, actually, you know what? We'll send you your refund, but don't bother sending it back. The most common use case we see this for is for, if someone's returning like socks or a hat or like a low cost item to where it might cost you more to pay for the label than it would to get the item back. And so that is a great way to, again, save on shipping costs. But again, even messaging it from a sustainability standpoint of, hey, don't worry about sending this back. We don't want to create extra waste, like maybe donate it or something like that. So Loop merchants from these sustainable shipping options have saved over $4 million in the past year through consolidation and keep items. So we're really proud to, again, not only be helping brands save more money, but be more sustainable with that. The next two pieces, resale is very much a up and coming thing. You've probably heard of it and seen, resale channels that shoppers get involved in, or brands facilitate themselves. But resale is basically the opportunity to refurbish and grade return products that you can't put back on your shelf. So I was saying a lot of the products end up going to waste. Well, what can we do with those? You can kind of get them to a good enough quality. Again, maybe it can't go back on your main website, but what about a new channel? And this helps turn waste into dollars, and also allows you to acquire new customers, maybe customers that may not be able to afford the full price items, but want to get a secondary item, and again, feel good about their purchase as well, knowing that they're being sustainable. So it helps reduce waste, gain new customers, and increase your profit margins. And the last piece is carbon offsets, which is what EcoCart does. So I won't talk your ear off about that, but Loop partners very well with EcoCart, and we love to see our brands being both, Loop brands and EcoCart brands. And so we're happy to refer brands to them to help them, make their checkout experience more sustainable as well. And the brand I wanted to highlight today is Allbirds. Allbirds is a great sustainable brand, and one main way that they do this is through their re-commerce resale program, which they call Allbirds Rerun. So kind of what I was describing, essentially what they do is shoppers are able to sell their imperfect or gently used shoes back to Allbirds, and sell them at a bit of a reduced price. So that keeps your current customers really engaged, and an opportunity for them to engage with you. And then it also, again, like I was saying, is an opportunity to acquire new customers that maybe don't want to pay full price for these shoes. And then for shoes that are in worse condition and maybe can't be resold even in a new channel, just recycling or donating them. So going back to, okay, what can we do about this waste and just not have it end up in landfills? And this resale strategy is a part of Allbirds' broader sustainability strategy. And one example of another thing they do to boost sustainability is that consolidation service through Loop that I was talking about earlier. So they allow their shoppers to drop off their returns without any packaging or anything, and then all of it gets consolidated together in a pallet before shipping back to them. So yeah, they're definitely one of my favorite brands, and definitely a leader in the space when it comes to sustainability. But that's all I have for you today. So thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Samir. And yeah, ditto on Allbirds. They are incredible. Great example. I love them. All right, awesome. Next up, we have Lindsay. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lindsay. I'm sorry. It is you. I'm so sorry.
No worries. All right.
Yeah.
Everyone's able to see, correct? All right. I'm Lindsay Kolinsky, Senior Marketing Lead at Okendo. Like I mentioned before, we help brands for customer marketing platform. We do reviews, surveys, and making sure there's continuous customer insights as well. So in terms of our sustainability tips and how reviews and surveys can help you with that, the first is obviously return rate. So thank you, Samir, for starting off that conversation there. But the idea of using high impact reviews to make sure that rather than thinking about how do we make our returns more sustainable, you're also thinking about what can we do pre-purchase to make sure that we're driving customers to the right products so that they don't have to return it later. And then we can talk a little bit about segmentation as it relates to upsell, cross-sell purchases as well. So what do I mean by a high impact review? So here's kind of breaking down what Okendo considers that. So first we have our user generated content. That's photos, videos, anything where you can truly see it. A few panelists and I right before this were having a very passionate conversation about women's apparel and how so many people don't show you what it looks like. And then we go and buy and we have to buy 6 different sizes and return it. We're guilty of it. But if you get that photo and you can really see what the fabric looks like, how it's laying on someone's body, it's really going to make a difference there. On top of that, we also have product attributes. So this is really about the product itself and being able to rate and give more information. So again, in this example of cake, what's the quality of it? How strong is the flavor? And do you think you got value for the price? Whereas then we have customer attributes, which are actually about the person who is purchasing. And that will allow customers to find people like themselves who are using the product and direct them to the right thing. So In this case, it's my favorite flavors vanilla. So again, if this was for a chocolate cake, I could sit there and say, they liked vanilla, so maybe that's why they didn't really love the flavor as much there. Whereas if I like vanilla, I can look at some other people there. Shopping for myself or someone else, that's important. Or things like, I like cake, how are you using it? So is it for a special occasion? Is it for dessert? All of those things are going to help drive customers to the right product. So what does this look like in real life? So here's an example of Scotch Porter. They're a men's beard care company. And you'll see here, they have the photo of, the guy after he used his products. He's able to rank, Brown is able to rank, the scent, the effectiveness, the feel good factor, how he feels about this product. But then I, as a consumer, can look and say, okay, he is 35 to 44. What if I'm in my early 20s? Well, maybe this isn't the right product for me in terms of the superior beard collection. Maybe I want to see what some other people in my age range are looking at. Or, if I have a shorter beard, and doing all of that again, and just having that flexibility to see that social proof of real people who are using the product that are like you and their experience is going to help drive you to, again, that right product that's for you on the site. So here's another apparel example. As you'll see here in this particular review, there's not necessarily a photo, but we have the aggregate up top. So you can look at all the different photos for this product, what the general consensus was. And again, you'll see we have filters as well as the ability to sort. So then you can start filtering and say, okay, I am 6 feet, or I want to use this product. This is Born Primitive. They're an apparel athleisure company. So, you could say, hey, I want to use it for weightlifting, and filter by that, sort by photo and video. Giving that flexibility is really, again, going to make sure that they're getting the product that's right for them, that they're not returning. So on top of this, just, as well, these high impact reviews, apart from sustainability, actually have a really big impact on your conversion as well. So Born Primitive had a 3.4% increase in PDP conversion. So this is going to help increase your sales and make you more sustainable via, getting the right product to the right people. And then in terms of upsell, so of course, post-purchase, if you're going to do upsell, cross-sell, all of that customer attribute data that we showed before can actually, it really is a form of zero-party data, which again, as you're personalizing and thinking about product recommendations, you want to make sure that it's not just guiding them to the direction in the first purchase, but that if you are going to cross-sell, upsell, that again, you're continuing to give them the products that are right for them. So collecting all of that information from reviews, from customer attribute is going to help you with that stronger upsell, cross-sell later on. And then my second sustainability tip, so using surveys to gain customer feedback and validate your initiative. So, if you're considering, is this the right model? Will my customers care? Should I put the effort into it? Just ask them. It's the easiest thing to do that market research. So going into that a little bit deeper. So in the same way that you can collect customer attribute data from reviews, similarly, you can get that data from a survey as well. So here's an example. What type of pet do you own? What breed? Okay, great. I know this person has a dog or a poodle. Let me, either if you're using a personalization platform, let me showcase them, products that are right for them. Or if I'm upselling and cross-selling later on, let's make sure we give them, not food for a hamster or, what's good for a Maltese. And then again, using that market research to validate your effort. So here's a great example of Love Wellness. They were interested in finding out, would their customers care about a refillable subscription model? So again, going to that idea of the not sending new bottles every time, but different packaging that they could refill the same bottles that they have. Are they currently recycling their bottles? What would be the right purchase point? So they asked these questions with a shareable link survey. So basically they found a segment of customers, they created this survey, they shared it over email and asked them, are you more likely to purchase from a brand that does this? When you finish, what are you doing with it? These are just a few of the questions from the sustainability survey that they did. But overall, with that data, they were able to make decisions on what sustainable efforts are right for their customers as well as their revenue model, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it resonates with your customers, but that you're able to profit and drive revenue off of that as well. So here at Okendo, we are giving a special offer for your first 30 days free. I will drop that in the chat, but thanks so much, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay. And I put it in the chat, but just a quick shout out to using surveys. Love surveys, love zero-party data. If you don't know about it, reach out to Okendo. They will set you up. They're awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay.
Yeah.
All right, hey, Aaron, you're on mute.
That would help. Thank you. All right, everyone. So as I mentioned in my intro, I'm Erin Watts, the partner manager over at Gorgias. So before we really jump into things, we are going to really focus on how to improve customer support as well as your sustainability efforts in Gorgias. But for those who are unfamiliar with our tool, just want to do a really quick overview. So as I mentioned in my intro, we are a customer service platform designed specifically for e-commerce brands and built for your entire tech stack. Our help desk is focused on a few things. So we are a centralized solution. So we centralize all support questions from any social platform into one dashboard. That's your email, chat, social. We have the deepest integration with Shopify. So we fully are integrated with Shopify, and you're able to track, edit orders, do refunds, utilize variables right in the dashboard. We are an automated solution. So being able to automate responses to reduce first response times and increase efficiency. And we are specifically built for DTC e-commerce brands, and now proudly working with 11,000 merchants. So a little bit about us. So I really kind of want to start off with how things are really rolling out in 2023. And it is no secret that sustainability already plays a big role in forming shopping habits, especially among millennials and Gen Z consumers. So we do know that brands who focus on sustainability in 2023 will take a larger share of the market. So shoppers do continue to emphasize the importance of shopping sustainable, and 82% actually wanting companies to put more of people and the planet before actually putting profit. So at Gorgias, we are always looking for better ways to have an impact at the company. Our small wins are looking to be more of a paperless company, using refurbished IT devices. And with our help desk, it's really about building features and integrations that will help merchants drive value at every part of the customer journey, but also having our features promote customer feedback to not only boost brand loyalty, but also help brands achieve larger goals like their sustainability goals. So I actually want to continue the conversation on the importance of how you can use customer feedback to not only improve your customer experience, but also your sustainability efforts. So at Gorgias, we actually analyzed over 10,000 tickets from our merchants to understand the top 10 customer inquiries. And when we take a quick look at this chart, we do notice that even though most tickets do fall under pre-sales at 33%, more of your support tickets do fall under post-purchase sales, and tend to be more damaging to the environment. So there's returns, exchanges, and product issues. So at Gorgias, we do offer a tagging and automation feature to help merchants find the root of their customers' most common frustrations. So this intel has helped clients like Chomps better build products and also create a brand that people genuinely love. So using the above example, Jessica reached out wanting to know when the product will be in stock. Chomp noticed that they've been receiving an increase in stock requests, and to reduce the number of requests coming in for this particular item and to improve customer satisfaction, they decided to create an email campaign that would send restock updates to any customer that was interested in purchasing. Voxer is another customer that uses tags to improve their processes and reduces their returns and exchanges. So Voxer was receiving a lot of returns and exchanges, and at the time they were unaware as to why they had this sudden spike. Not only was this high volume of returns expensive for the business, but it was also increasing their carbon footprint. So they started using our tagging and automation feature to try to identify a common theme with these returns. And after they began tagging, they actually started noticing that a particular product was ripping easily, causing that high spike in returns. With this intel, they were able to flag the manufacturer and quickly correct the material issue. Soon after the correction, they did see a significant decline in returns and a boost to customer retention. So pro tip for sustainability efforts with tagging: any ticket that mentions returns or exchange, you can have a rule set up to automatically tag them as sustainability. So then you can review the amount of tickets that are impacting the environment and try to reduce these type of inquiries. Okay, so now we're going to review another feature that not only helps stay connected with your customers at every part of the buying journey, but it will also be a feature that you can leverage to nudge your customers to make more environmentally positive choices. So one of the ways that we help to provide a seamless customer experience is providing live chat and a self-serve option for your customers. So one of our self-serve features allows your customers to check their own order statuses, tracking numbers, shipping information without the help of an agent. This feature can help actually deflect up to 30% of your check tickets, while also creating a nicer experience for your customers. There is also a live chat option so that if a customer does want to speak to an agent or they have a more complex question, that option is there for them as well. So our self-serve and live chat can also show off a brand's most appealing benefits, even if the customer didn't explicitly ask for it. So Aloha's is one of our sustainable fashion brands and is a great example of a brand using our self-service option to help their customers embrace more sustainability options. So when a customer wants more information on their shipping policies, Aloha's uses this opportunity to educate their customers on different ways they can shop more sustainable. So Aloha's customers can either combine their orders to avoid partial shipments, a service that Loop offers, or choose their on-demand shopping experience. So this on-demand shopping experience only produces products once an item is purchased, helping to reduce waste. And then lastly, I just want to touch on the importance of building a strong tech stack that will grow your business as the demands from your customers change. So not all technologies will work together, so it's important to consider all the components you want to include before building your tech stack. Luckily, Gorgias has integrated with some best-in-class e-commerce tools like Loop, ShipBob, and Okendo, so you can get the most ROI from your tech stack. Our integrations will not only ensure that your DTC business will be able to optimize your processes at every stage of the buying journey, but it will also work with the tool. It also works with tools that will scale your business at while the buying environment rapidly changes. So, for example, helping brands to put people in the planet before profit. All right, so if you are interested in learning more about Gorgias, this help desk, you can send an email to aaron.watt@gorgias, and because you attended today's event, you will receive 2 months free. And I will put that into the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. Those are some awesome ideas. I really appreciate that. Awesome. Okay, perfect. That was great. Everyone in the audience, please definitely take advantage of these very generous partner offers here. And then as well, if you have any questions for us, those in the chat, we have some already lined up, but if you have any questions, we want to get them answered. And yeah, so without further ado, we can kind of dive straight into the Q&A and the discussion aspect of this webinar, so we can keep on kind of talking about, build on some of these themes. And one of them are returns. It's definitely a big theme throughout this webinar, and definitely rightfully so. Returns are a kind of a big issue in e-commerce and on shipping and all of it. So so the first question that came in that I want to start us off with is to back up a little bit and go to, as consumer awareness around environmental issues, grow, especially in younger generations, which are, are increasing their own buying power and becoming more and more involved consumers, I guess. So how can brands effectively, what are some ways they can effectively communicate these initiatives to build trust, to build loyalty, and then ultimately to, become more sustainable business? And I'm not sure, does anyone want to start off with that question?
I can take a stab at it, and then we'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts. So we work at EcoCart, we work with thousands of brands. And so we've talked with thousands of brands, and we do so on a pretty regular basis, effectively helping them tell a sustainability story, to measure their carbon footprint, to report that to them so they can understand their carbon footprint and benchmark that. We help them, of course, procure a portfolio of offset projects so they can effectively reduce their carbon footprint and become net zero or carbon neutral. And then, of course, we kind of help them work all of that through their customer experience, sort of what I talked about at the beginning of this, at the top of this hour here. So that's effectively what is probably the best overview of how brands can effectively communicate their initiatives to their consumers. I think a few things are key. And I'll kind of reiterate some of what I mentioned earlier a little bit today, which is, effort matters. We can't, no brand is perfect. There is a carbon footprint associated with every activity. There's a carbon footprint associated with us being on this webinar just here right now. That's just the reality of carbon emissions. And, there's a lot of incredible work being done across various folks in the industry and businesses and both brands and companies that, you heard from a few of them here in this room today. There's a lot of opportunity to make a difference. There's a lot of opportunity to communicate that difference to your consumers, to establish that connection, that mission alignment and ethos alignment between yourself and your consumers. And it's becoming a must-have. It's becoming something that I like to say we're kind of in this golden age and golden era between sustainability being a competitive advantage, which it is and has been for the last few years, to it actually being a must-have across every brand, across every business, and having a sustainability story around that. And so we're kind of in this moment in time where we're transitioning to that, and it's an exciting time, right? I think there's a lot of opportunity at our footsteps to be able to make a difference, to help spread the movement that commerce can be for good in the world. And again, have that also drive business results. So there's a lot there. And we'd be happy to help you all kind of construct that, because again, we talk with thousands of brands and know what works and what doesn't.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dane. Does anyone want to add on there?
Yeah, I would like to. I think that we sometimes look at customer service as like the last thing that we need to do as a business. We're really, our support agents are the ones that are front facing. They're the ones that are talking to our customers. And I think it's really important that as companies explore better ways to provide, better customer service, sustainability should also be part of that equation. But it also means making sure that the entire team is on board. So it's understanding the company's goals at every step. So, not just the sales goals, not just their resolution times or first contact times, but what is those larger goals? What are those sustainability goals? So really utilizing customer support to educate your customers and also, nudge them to be making those, more environmentally positive choices. And so, we do have things like chat campaigns where you can have a little chat box show up, when at the part where someone's actually now checking out. And you can have either an agent or an automated message just mentioning that, hey, for sustainability efforts, we have other options that can actually reduce your carbon footprint, or you can do this, or you can do that. And so not only are you helping reach those sustainability goals, but you're also educating, a customer on this as well too. And then hopefully also being able to increase retention, because as we all know, the younger generations, that's what we're looking for. And we want to be working with a brand that has that, front of mind. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I guess the only thing I had to add on there is just that, with sustainability, if a brand is sustainability focused, if it's an internal sustainability goals, like those larger goals, you can feel that at each touch point. If they advertise sustainability on their on the website, the front facing the consumer end, but then they end up talking to support on the reviews and email campaigns. If it's everywhere, consumers will see that and they'll know it, and that will build trust and more loyalty. I mean, I even, for example, recently bought a product that had some issues, but then my whole experience with actually purchasing the product, knowing about the brand and working with their customer support, you could just tell. And even though there are issues, I actually ended up kind of more loyal, that weird psychological sort of thing where I actually appreciate them that much more. But yeah, awesome. Thank you, Aaron and Dane. Cool. All right, we had another question come in, and they said they're looking to adopt more sustainable practices in the supply chain, but they aren't really sure where to start. So for a brand, what are some actionable steps that you get started with?
I'll chime in. I think a lot of stuff I said was a little low lift. First, you got to identify, do you have your own warehouse? Are you doing this out of your garage? Or do you use a 3PL and seeing what options are out there? Usually utilizing a third-party logistics company or someone's WMS is probably better, because they have they have more money and more bandwidth to get these programs implemented. It's we have pre-built integrations with I think almost all the partners that are on this call right now. So it's like, that's something you plug and play, like we're already carbon offsetting our facilities, like that's a plug and play. So you have to look at like what's the lowest lift if you're doing it yourself, but then potentially looking at joining someone else's network of fulfillment centers to see if they already have sustainability initiatives, like processes like already rolled out. But I'd say like probably the lowest lift is implementing EcoCart. That's super simple. And then looking at your packaging. I know that's an additional cost, but that's a really easy way. Besides, like I think like getting a donations partner and then carbon offsetting your facilities will take a little bit more time. So I'd say packaging, EcoCart, then just like identifying your opportunities based on what you're doing with fulfillment right now. So that's why most people come to ShipBob. Like it's a plug and play of so many different resources and programs. So there's some benefits from plugging into a third-party logistics company that has these pre-built integrations and programs. But take it in stride, one step at a time.
Yeah, I can definitely add on to that. I think similar to Francesca, like a lot of the return practices, like setting up a consolidation program or a re-commerce program, definitely are higher lift. And like if you're looking for something in the next few days for Earth Day this year, starting with those lower lift things is the way to go. I think EcoCart, like she said, is a great way to get started this week. And on the return side, kind of going to what Francesca was saying about packaging, a really simple way, even if you're not ready for the cost of like having sustainable packaging, a really simple thing that Loop does is you can serve up in your Loop returns portal. As a shopper is completing their return, you can say, hey, go green with your return by just reusing the original packaging that was sent to you. And even something as simple as that, like maybe it's not compostable packaging, but even just reusing that as opposed to throwing it away and getting a new one is a very simple thing.
Awesome. Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Francesca. Awesome. Yeah, and appreciate the EcoCart shout outs as well. Definitely. Also, remember that offer that EcoCart has. If you sign up for a demo, we will offset all of your orders on Earth Day itself this year. But awesome. Okay, we have a couple minutes left, so I think we have time for one or two more questions. And let's see here. Another person said, this is actually a really interesting question that I think comes up a lot when talking about sustainability in e-commerce as a whole. And, you know, studies have shown that consumers want to be more sustainable with their shopping. However, sustainable products can and often are a little more expensive, you know, especially with like macroeconomic conditions, you know, inflation, everything like that happening. So how can that gap start to be bridged? And I know we could talk about this question for probably a while, but it's one I'd love to chat about. Who wants to start?
I can get us started with kind of going back to some of the things I mentioned as it relates to resale and re-commerce. I think that is a very sustainable thing to do that also helps bridge the gap with the pricing. And so allowing your shoppers to buy items not only full price, but on a different channel like that can allow more shoppers to be more sustainable with their purchases. So I'll let others add on to that.
I think too, like talking about why the products are so expensive. Like right now, Fashion Revolution's another group talking about Earth Day initiatives. It's more about like who made my clothes and making sure people are paid a fair trade. So if it comes to like higher priced products, just maybe outline, like Dane had said, like how was this product manufactured? Who made it? Like what materials are being used? And maybe like the price per wear, because I've always been someone that invests in like staple pieces or things that have longevity. And like even just breaking it down of like price per wear based on like what a customer's had this product for. I think if you can outline the value in the product and like the why of why it is so priced so highly, it's probably easier for them to comprehend and like understand like someone's being paid a fair wage, but also like these shoes could last me 10 years if I take care of them. And then providing care instructions of how to keep your shoes or recycle them, whatnot. So yeah, giving the why and giving some information of like why the product is higher priced, I think will probably go a longer way with consumers.
I'd also add to that reviews and social proof and just showing that other customers are happy with their purchase. Obviously, you know, if there's an alternative and most of this is minimal when it comes to those price gaps overall. Like it might seem big, but being able to show that people are happy with the product, and a lot of reviews, if your community reflects that sustainability, like you might even see some of that in the feedback, like so happy to support a brand like this, love the product, it's great, it's better than the alternative. So having that social proof and always putting it forward, the 5-star reviews, just reminding everyone, this is great, people love it. That's just going to help reinforce the value that you're going to get from the product and that you're going to be happy with what you purchased.
Yeah, and just like one thing too, I think so many of us, we provide discount codes for first time buyer, or, to motivate someone because of, a certain time of month or whatever it is. And maybe where we try to get the headspace is at is now motivating people, using those discount codes, motivate people to use, to be buying from more sustainable brands. And, this is, giving that 10 to 20% off so that they start using their purchases towards more sustainability shopping. And then hopefully through, great products and great service that hooks them into wanting to stay and continue working with those types of brands, even if they are a little bit more expensive.
And then lastly, I'd say from maybe the other side, because obviously in an environment where consumer spending is a question mark in the future, right? There's a lot that brands are really interested to increase their bottom line, and I think that finding a tool that can again help you tell a sustainability story that drives those core business results are going to be crucial. And so there's obviously all the consumer elements which are crucial to say, but at the end of the day, what matters most is how that drives bottom line, how that drives repurchase rates over time. How do you establish that connection with your consumers so that they trust you as a brand and come back and repurchase? And I think that that's a key element as well. So look through any sustainability element through that lens. Is it helping me tell my sustainability story for me as a brand with my ethos in mind? And is it driving customer loyalty and love? Because that's what really matters most.
I think we hit it on the nail. That was fantastic, guys. We are right at the end of the webinar, and I think that's a great question, and great answers too. I mean, there's a lot to dive into, and I think we all know we could talk about this for quite a while. But that's very fantastic. We are at the end, so I'm going to close this out. Thank you all so much for joining. Panelists, if you want to say bye real quick. Thank you all in the audience for joining today, and thank you panelists for coming on and giving your expertise today. Thank you a ton, and happy Earth Day, everyone. Happy Earth Week.
Happy Earth Week. Thanks,
Happy Earth
guys.
Week. Thanks,
Awesome.
everyone.
Happy Earth Week. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.